Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign. We're back in New World today and it has been a week since launch. And this video is just going to go over sort of the ups and downs of what's been happening since the game actually launched on the 28th of September. And I just want to go over a couple of things. For those who have been on the fence waiting for the actual game to be out for a certain amount of time before they actually delve deep into their MMO. Now I will say before I even start talking about the good and the bad about the game so far, I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot with my friends. With talking to me and my friends, we actually have a company on Orofena server on North America East. We are on the Covenant side. The name is Dawnbringers. We're a small tight-knit PvP/PvE when we get bored group of players, and you can join a Discord down in the description and you can get roles for the company if you'd like to join us. So I don't know what to really start off with, the good or the bad. I guess we'll jump from both. Like we'll do one good, one bad, one good, one bad, so it isn't just me bitching for 10 minutes in one part and then I was saying good things about the game at the end when everyone's already left because of all the bad parts. So there have been bugs in the game. We cannot use some of the resource nodes inside of the towns. It just holds there and gets stuck. There's a bug, as you can see on probably in the video in the background, the abandoned event bug. Your quest log disappears on a regular basis and it takes a relog for it to come back, and if you relog you're stuck in a queue, and the queue has been by far the probably biggest negative of the game so far, at least for most people. I'm lucky, I'm from the EU. I'm born and raised in London, but I live in Barcelona, Spain now, and I'm on the North American East server. So when I log on and I get up for my day of gaming, there is no queue on the server. It is like a dead zone on the American servers, and I'll be playing and playing and I'll be playing all day because I took a holiday for this. So I'll be continuing playing even into the prime time, and because I'm in the game I don't have to worry about queues. Now those guys who are finishing work at 6 p.m. getting home and sitting in a 3k queue, that hasn't been my issue at all for the reasons stated before. Now Amazon Games has talked about upping the servers significantly. They've talked about next week we're going to be getting the server transfers for in the region. Now we don't know if it's going to be to dead servers and if they'll block off the higher pop servers like your Asgard, your Valhalla, your Hades, Orofena, which had like the characters locked. You couldn't create no characters for a long time. But saying all that, on the good side of things, the game technically runs really, really well. I'm having no issues, no lag, no stuttering, no like I've had a couple of freezes every now and then on certain portals that we've been doing when we've been doing the corruptions. Like it will get to a certain point and it will like freeze for quite a few people. There was one time where like the entire Zerg that everyone was running around with actually crashed all at the same time whilst completing one of the corruptions. So there has been some issues, but they're so few and far between. I've put so many hours into the game since launch and I've only had a couple of issues on that front. I've never crashed. I've only had the freezes. Now I have heard other people complaining about having crashes and then like queuing up for 3 hours on the 3k, getting to about 400 and then it dropping out of the queue. Now that would make me rip my goddamn dreads out. I couldn't even imagine sitting there waiting for that long and then getting kicked out of queue and going to the back again. That would drive me mental. One of the things I love about this game is that there are different roads to take in order to get the levels and get to the max level and get to what you want to be doing in the game. You can level wholly with crafting. Server first, world first 60 leveled through crafting. So if you're a crafter, you're not stuck behind having to wait or having to zerg with 100,000 people. You can just level through the crafting system. You can set a route, run from town to town, pick up the town board quest, do the town board quest and do your crafting along the way whilst gathering the resources. Gathering resources gives you really good XP when you tick over a level in the actual crafting and gathering. This is what I've been mainly doing. I'm level 50 now and I've been doing a little bit of everything. So I've been running around doing corruptions. I've been doing lots of dungeons. Dungeons don't give that much XP, so it actually takes a little bit of time, especially when you're running with people that you don't know. I've been doing the Zergs, running from corruption to corruption. That gives decent XP, but it can take a few hours, especially if the corruption starts to slow down. If you have too many people in the Zerg, you can clear them like really quickly and it becomes a little bit of an issue. So I got kind of bored of that. It's kind of brain dead. You run in, you hit something and then you can just go AFK the entire thing and then you move on to the next one. And it's a lot of running from point to point.
not really my cup of tea, even though gathering and crafting is pretty much running from point to point while you stick a pickaxe in a rock or stick an axe in a tree over and over and over again. I can see why people would think that was brain dead, but for some reason I enjoy that sort of gathering side of things. It's the fact that the game feels kind of like a survival game to me that I'm really enjoying the actual gathering and crafting elements. The crafting system is really robust. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of layers to it. I'm not a massive fan of you having to build tier 1 to build tier 2 to build tier 3. Like, that system has never really done it for me in past games, but I'm enjoying it. I'm going through it. I've got some decent levels. Everything's 100 plus in the gathering. Everything's 100 plus in the crafting now. Everything is 100 plus in the resources, the smelting and the refining. So I've been doing quite a lot of it. Now, I have been doing a lot more town ball quests recently, so I will be hitting 60 within the next couple of days, because it is insane XP once you get your actual crafting above 100 and you start getting the really big quests on the town board. That's when you really start making some good XP. But what I really love is the fact that you don't have to just do gathering. You don't have to just do crafting. You don't have to just do PvE. You don't have to just do dungeons. You can mix and match and get all of the stuff going and doing everything within the game. Now, if I just started from the beginning, continued gathering and crafting all the way through doing town ball quests, I would be 60 days ago. But I wanted to sort of experience everything and take it a little bit slower than usual. So I normally just get to end game and just melt it, and that's it, and that's me done. And then I'll PvP for the rest of existence until I get bored or no one PvPs anymore. Now, speaking of PvP, the flagging system pisses me off more than anything. When you're out there and you've got hundreds of people in the same zone and they're all gathering materials and you can't gather materials because everyone is just everywhere, and there's no way you can stop them from doing that. Personally, as a PvP player, I would like there to be full PvP all the time. If someone is out there and they're camping a spot and they're just sitting there and they're just bang, 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 I should be able to go in there and just kill them and take the spot for what I need it for. Now, there's going to be a lot of PvE players that'll be pissed off with that, and they want to sit there and they just want to gather in their own and calm and not have to worry about some knobhead like me coming along and killing them. But that's just the way I like to play, especially since I've come from games, survival games that are similar to this, like Ark and Rust, etc., etc. You run around grabbing and getting your tiers up and getting your house built and your furniture and your armor and your weapons all crafted. It does have a massive part to the game. And when you've spent 2.5 weeks of 12-hour shifts every single day gathering an Ark only to be offline raided, I'm used to that. So it doesn't do anything to me anymore, but I would understand in the MMO community why that would be an issue for the majority of players. So moving on from the PvP and how like the scaling system kind of works. So I'm level 50 and I went up against 4 level 12. Now, you can say that I'm just a shit player. You can say that I have no skill at all. You can say whatever you want. But those 4 level 12s, all wielding great axes and hatchet combos, annihilated me within 15 seconds. Now, I'm all for having the sort of newer players actually be viable in PvP, but when I'm actually getting deleted by characters 30, 40 levels lower than because of the sort of shoddy scaling system they seem to have at the moment. And yes, it was 4 players, so like, I mean, I can't really complain massively about it, but it was just such a point to where I was just sitting there and I couldn't actually believe that I just got deleted in seconds. I've got all the best gear for my level. My masteries are all 20 for my primary and my secondary weapon, my life staff and my hatchet. Got the amber gem and the hatchet, so I'm doing decent damage with the focus hatchet. They need to sort of have a look at that and sort of have it so the players that have put the time and effort in still have a little bit of a leg up on the guys who have just started the game. That only makes sense to me. Why should the person who's just started the game get given all this leg up and foot up over someone that's actually put a lot of time and effort into your game? I personally, I don't understand. But saying that, I'm having a lot of fun with the PvP. The wars are really good. The invasions are amazing. They give really good rewards. Even if you only last 3 minutes, you get a couple of thousand XP, you get a decent amount of faction tokens, you get items and blah, blah, blah. Gold coming out of your ass. It's really, really good. If you can get a good group together, I can see invasions being a massive amount of faction tokens and a massive amount of gold when you actually get involved with them. Now, the wars kind of annoy me a little bit because the companies can pick and choose who they want to go in there, and if they want only their companies to only ever be in the wars, then those players outside of those major companies that own the towns don't get involved in the wars. Now, luckily, because I'm in ahead of the curve and I'm a higher level than most people, I get picked for the wars because they think that like levels mean everything when levels don't really mean everything. You need to have a mix and match of a good amount of healers and a good amount of DPS and a good amount of tanks for you to actually work it out. The Covenant opponent's side lost a war yesterday and they lost Everfall because they just stuck all the highest level players in there. They didn't even go into Discord to sort of give orders and tell people where to go, tell people what to do, and they just got absolutely annihilated by the Marauders. It was an absolute shit show. But they have definitely learned their lesson now because the whole entire server went ape shit at them, which is fantastic, I might add, if considering that sort of company was making everyone pay 15% tax on their trade for the entire time, and then they wonder why no one wanted to help them with the PvP quests, the faction quest to actually stop the town from going to war in the first place. And they're complaining that, oh well, if you guys didn't if you guys actually did the PvP quest, then but people, you taxed the shit out of them and they turned around and threw the tea in the ocean. It was the Boston Tea Party all over again, and it was beautiful. Even though our faction lost the town and it sort of messed up my town-to-town gathering crafting system going on with the town boards, it was still really nice to see that the community just went, no, we're not helping you because you're screwing everyone over. And that, for me, is just beautiful. But anyway, yeah, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm having a lot of fun. The guys I'm playing with are all having a lot of fun still. We're all on every day and we're enjoying it, and it hasn't been too much. The honeymoon period's still there. I'm starting to see some of the edges unravel the longer I'm playing, but it's still very much enjoyable and definitely worth your time if you haven't really started playing yet. I would wait until they sort out the servers, add the higher maximum amount of players before you actually jump in the game if you haven't already, and see what happens with the region transfers next week. And that's all we have for today. Remember to like and sub if you want to see any more New World content. I do have a lot of guides of crafting and gathering locations, etc, etc. Now they're a lot shorter than the algorithm for YouTube allows. They're like 4 to 6 minutes, so a lot of people don't get stuck in their homepage and when they're browsing, because the algorithm just works. If you don't do a 10-minute video, then you just get shit on, unless you already have a large following to begin with and they get those views in at the beginning. There will be a lot more end game content that I will be working on. That's what I usually do with games. I don't really do the beginner's guide sort of stuff. I'll be doing the guides on builds for the end game, builds that can do certain specific tasks, PvP, PvE, war builds, invasion builds. I'll be doing all that sort of thing, so make sure to like and sub to check that out. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.